I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time, Madam Deputy Speaker. In my previous role as the Vaccines Minister, I set out how we as a nation were going to work our way back to normality by delivering on an incredible vaccination programme, and this would be the product of evidence, expertise, commitment and, of course, collaboration. I'm now here, and I'm very pleased to say, as the Education Secretary. But I would like to make clear that my aims, first and foremost, remain the same. I am determined to focus on evidence, data and delivery, and on realising the huge potential we have in our most valuable resource, the human resource, our people. Of course I'll give way.
Me? Yes. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And I'll thank the Secretary of State for kindly giving way. He just made reference to evidence and data, something that we all in this House rely on. But given the evidence and the expertise of those professionals in relation to the move to get rid of the BTEC qualification, isn't it time for the Secretary of State to rethink that proposal?
I'm grateful to the Honourable Lady, and I hope, as I did in the weekly briefings I gave when I was the Vaccines Minister, to convince her tonight that, one, that is incorrect. We are not getting rid of BTECs. I know firsthand how important education is, and I came to this country, many colleagues will know, who've known me for a long time, with my family at the age of 11, without a word of English. And here I am now in this chamber. With the right education, Madam Deputy Speaker, opportunity abounds. Unfortunately, we are still feeling the aftershocks of the pandemic, and we still have many challenges ahead. We need to recover economically. We need to level up our country. I am glad to say that we're already making headways on levelling up. The Chancellor's budget is putting the money where it is needed, with £374 billion of direct support for the economy over this year and last. The Prime Minister's plan for jobs is working, with the peak of unemployment forecast to be 2 million less than previously predicted. And of course, wages are growing. We will build on this by having skills at the very heart of our plan. I will give way.
Secretary of State, and welcome him to his place. And there were many positive elements of his vaccination strategy. I wanted to ask him about apprenticeships, because he says he arrived in the UK and he's been such a successful individual. Is he disappointed that there's been a 41% drop in apprenticeship take-up? Isn't that a bit of a national disgrace?
I'm grateful for the Honourable Lady, and I would say to her that she may recall, in fact, that I first joined the Department of Education as the apprenticeship czar, which I will talk about hopefully later on in my speech, and introduced the standards and the levy, and actually we did incredibly well in pushing quality ahead of quantity. I think it's very important for this House to focus on outcomes rather than just inputs. Wages are growing, Madam Deputy Speaker, and we will build on this by having skills at the very heart of our plan. Skills, schools and families. This is our mantra. And skills are about investing in people all across our country, about strengthening local economies, about productivity, stabilising the labour market, and, of course, global competitiveness. It's about shoring up and shoring ourselves up for a better, stronger, more prosperous future. This is not a pipe dream, Madam Deputy Speaker. We are getting it done right now. Our Skills for Jobs White Paper set out in January what our plan was to reform the skills system, and I pay tribute to my predecessor for the work on the brilliant Skills for Jobs White Paper. I'm not going to repeat everything it said. Members, I'm sure, would have familiarised themselves with it, but I hope I'm going to show how we have acted upon it tonight. Firstly, we have significantly increased investment. We're investing £3.8 billion more in further education and skills over the Parliament by 2024-25. As my right honourable friend, the chair of the Education Select Committee, said earlier this month, this is, and I quote, a remarkable amount of money for skills. I would note, Madam Deputy Speaker, the cross-party support for the measure in this bill. The noble Lord Sainsbury, who led an independent panel on skills on behalf of the coalition government, is a big supporter of our plans. As President Truman once said, it is amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. And that is what we are trying to do, and I hope the opposition will join us tonight to work together to level up the skills base across our great country. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are delivering an extra £1.6 billion boost by 24-25 for 16 to 19-year-olds education, including maintaining funding in real terms per student and delivering more hours of teaching for T-levels. There's an extra hour a week for all students in this age gap who have the least time to catch up from COVID. Apprenticeships funding will increase to £2.7 billion by 24-25 to support businesses of all sizes to build the skilled workforce they need. We're making vital improvements to the FE college buildings and equipment across England. We are delivering on our National Skills Fund manifesto commitment to help to transform the lives of people who have not got onto the work ladder and lack qualifications. I will give way.
This sounds different giveaway. I'm hoping, first of all, I welcome the bill coming forward and what government is indicating that they wish to do. But I can ask a quick question. Only 26% of disadvantaged white British boys and 35% of disadvantaged white British girls achieve 5 good GCSEs, including English and mathematics. What is happening for those young boys and girls who are not achieving some of the qualifications that they need to then advance themselves in work and employment?
I'm grateful for my honourable friend's question. I know the Education Select Committee, in fact, did an incredibly important piece of work on the precise subject that he asked about. We are investing in recovery, £5 billion now after the budget in recovery, including tutoring. And of course, we're investing in making sure that the quality of teaching, you can't have great outcomes if you don't have great teachers. 500,000 teaching opportunities as well. I will, if I may, Madam Secretary, just make some headway. I know there are many speakers, as you quite rightly told me, who want to contribute tonight. So as well as the National Skills Fund manifesto commitment to help transform lives of people who have not got the opportunities that many of us have had in this place, we are secondly implementing the policies from the White Paper. For example, we've established 8 trailblazer areas across the country where the first local skills improvement plans are being developed by employer representative bodies. They are currently engaging employers, education providers and key local stakeholders to begin the development of these really important plans in terms of the skills landscape. The trailblazers are from Kent to Cumbria, and they will generate valuable learning to inform the wider rollout of these plans across our country. And finally, this bill sets out the essential legal framework for our reforms. We're setting ourselves up for success by giving people the skills and education they need for work, by improving the quality of what they learn, and of course by protecting our learners from the disruptive impact of provider failure, reducing the risk that they miss out on vital learning because the training provider they are studying with goes bust, for example. I've seen firsthand, Madam Deputy Speaker, the transformative power of education. I'd like to take a moment to retell the House an experience I had whilst on a visit to Barnsley College. The college was the first in South Yorkshire to roll out T-levels, and while I was there, I met several of their students. I'd like to tell you, Madam Deputy Speaker, about one of them. Honestly, I have rarely met a more inspiring individual. He told me that with his T-level, and I'm quoting him word for word here, I'm looking at unis not now and thinking which one I am picking, not which one is going to pick me. Greg is living proof of the transformative effect our skills programme is having. I also met students at Barnet and Southgate College in my first week in post and saw how state-of-the-art facilities were helping those with learning difficulties and disabilities realise their ambition. Barnet College is going further by strengthening its ties to local businesses. The college has worked closely with its local chambers of commerce to provide a range of services for local businesses as a hub in the college. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, our reforms are working and are very much evidence-led. They are changing people's lives. They are levelling up the country, and this bill will help secure these reforms for the years to come. Of course I will.
One college that he knows well is Peter Simmons in my Winchester constituency, which is transforming lives and T-levels, and this is an excellent bill that deserves a second reading tonight. Peter Simmons have done very well out of the Post-16 Capacity Fund bid, which I found out last week they were successful in, and they'll build a new 12-classroom block as a result of that. I wonder whether the Secretary of State, in his new role, would make a glorious return to Winchester to come and see what excellent Post-16 education looks like in the heart of Hampshire.
Of my honourable friend, and I am very much aware of that investment, and I will certainly look at the diary to see if I can make time. I know the Under-Secretary of State for Skills is gagging to get down to have a look at these Simmons as well. Skills are very much about getting people filling and productive jobs and helping them to improve their lot. And that is why one of the key parts of this bill is local skills improvement plans. They obviously place employers through representative bodies at the centre, at the heart of local post-16 skills system, only through really understanding what is needed in a local area and working in, I think, a sort of holistic way with employers, education providers and key local stakeholders can we develop that credible local plan to ensure that skills provision meets local needs. Now, mayoral combined authorities who have certain devolved responsibilities for adult education are also critical stakeholders who will be closely engaged in this process. So I'm pleased to say we will introduce an amendment, Madam Deputy Speaker, to place the role of mayoral combined authorities on the face of the bill. Local skills improvement plans will help ensure the skills system is responsive to labour market skills needs. I'll just make some headway, and I will try and give way. I apologise. I think I need to make some headway because there are lots of people who want to contribute to the debate tonight. Local skills improvement plans will help ensure the skills system is responsive to labour market skills needs and supports local innovation and growth, with every part of the country able to succeed in its own unique way. This is levelling up in action. And as the Prime Minister set out at COP26 2 weeks ago, when it comes to tackling climate change, words without action and without deeds are pointless. So within this bill, we're taking that action by setting out the need to consider skills that support our path to net zero as part of the local skills improvement plan. So it's not only good for the planet, it's good for business. Another priority, Madam Deputy Speaker, for our skills agenda is for lifelong learning and delivering on our commitment to the Lifelong Loan Entitlement, LLE for short. This will help provide people with a loan entitlement to the equivalent of 4 years of post-18 education at level 4 to 6 for use on modules or full courses in colleges or universities over their lifetime. If you told me when I was apprenticeship czar under the coalition government that there will be a Prime Minister who will introduce this, I would have bitten your arm off then, Madam Deputy Speaker. I cannot emphasise how much this is a step change in our system and will revolutionise how we see education, retraining and upskilling in our country. if I tell you that 80% of the 2030, not a long time from today, the 2030 workforce are already in work. So we need to be able to adapt to the future economy and those skills needs. The LLE...
Thank the Secretary of State for giving way. Obviously, the fact we're talking about further education and a skills guarantee is a paradigm shift, and it's very welcome. But in regards to those who don't have a level 2 qualification or who have difficulty with reading, what are we doing to make sure that they can access this guarantee?
For my honourable friend's question, I will be coming later on in my speech to address that issue around level 2 as well. The LLE will give us the flexibility to be, I hope, responsive and agile and enable people to succeed at any stage in their lives. It will also give people the option to build up their qualifications over time within both further education and higher education providers. They will have a real choice in how and when they study to acquire new life-changing skills. The LLE will help to create that parity of esteem between further education and higher education that we so desperately want to see and so desperately need. And I'm pleased to inform the House, Madam Speaker, that since this bill's introduction, we, as a government, have introduced further measures to help eradicate that scourge of honest and faithful academia, essay mills. I'd like to thank my right honourable friend, the member for Kingswood, for his work on this topic, and I know he'll appreciate it. It's high time we stamp out this dishonest practice that both undermines our further and higher education systems and puts students at risk of exploitation. Any reform, Madam Speaker, of our system must also reform our set of technical education qualifications to close the gap between the skills gained through a qualification and the skills employers tell us that they need. I'll give way.
I thank the Secretary of State for giving way, and I welcome him to his place. We've worked together on education issues in the past, and I hope to do so in the future. But can I press him further on my colleague's point on BTECs? Because whilst he might not be intending to abolish them, isn't effectively defunding them going to have the same effect? And isn't that why so many former Conservative education ministers made that point in the Lords?
I'm grateful to my honourable friend. I value his opinion highly. I know he and I have worked on education for a number of years on a cross-party basis. I think the important thing to remember is that the Sainsbury review of this was clear that for T-levels to succeed, where there is duplication and lower quality, we need to remove lower quality. That does not mean getting rid of high-quality BTECs. And I will say a little bit more, I hope, tonight that will reassure the House as to how we're doing that without kicking the ladder of opportunity away from anyone that deserves that opportunity. That is why I hope I'll be able to allay some of his fears around this. Back to the reform of our system, Madam Speaker. What we are doing is extending the powers of the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education to approve a broader range of technical education qualifications. The Institute will ensure the independent voice of employers is embedded through this process while working in harmony with Ofqual to ensure quality. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here. This bill focuses on the approval and regulation of technical qualifications rather than the funding of technical or academic qualifications. But when it comes to both academic and technical qualifications, what we are looking for most is quality. There is no point in a student taking a low-quality Level 3 qualification that doesn't equip them with skills for a job or help them progress into higher education. And this is even more important when it comes to disadvantaged students. We have over 12,000 qualifications at Level 3 and below. By comparison, the Netherlands, Germany and Switzerland, widely regarded as having high-performing technical education systems, have around 500 or fewer. Our qualifications review is vital in ensuring what's on the market is the best it can be. And I'm clear that T-levels and A-levels should be front and centre of the Level 3 landscape. But I'm also convinced that we need other qualifications alongside them, many of which currently exist that play a valuable role in supporting good outcomes for students. It is quite likely we will see many BTECs and other similar applied general style qualifications continuing to play an important role in 16 to 19 education for the foreseeable future. Our reforms to the qualifications landscape are rightly ambitious, but we know that we would be wrong to push too hard and risk compromising quality. That is why I'm announcing today that we have decided to allow an extra year before our reform timetable is implemented. This extra year will allow us to continue to work hard to support the growth of T-levels and gives more notice to providers, awarding organisations, employers, students and parents so that they can prepare for the changes. And I am a firm believer in T-levels, Madam Deputy Speaker. As I've said before, I want them to become as famous as A-levels, and I want to make sure we get them right. As many young people as possible should have the advantage of studying and successfully completing a T-level. We hear consistently that some students are being put off taking a T-level because they are worried that they will fail if they do not reach level 2 in English and maths. We want to change this and bring T-levels in line with other qualifications, including A-levels. We are absolutely clear that English and maths should remain central to T-level programmes, but we do not want to unnecessarily inhibit talented students from accessing T-levels simply because of the additional hurdle that reaching level 2 in English and maths represents. That is why I can also announce, Madam Deputy Speaker, today that we will remove the English and maths exit requirements from T-levels. This will bring them in line with other qualifications, including A-levels, as I mentioned, and ensure talented young people with more diverse strength are not arbitrarily shut out from rewarding careers in sectors such as construction, catering and healthcare. The Institute is taking immediate steps towards this. I'll give way.
1% of college students are on a course with a coverage of climate change. And unless we embed climate change and environment into our post-16 education, the government's plans to get to net zero will simply not be possible. In Bath College, some of these courses are being actually offered and they're doing something about it. Will he commit the government to really put its weight behind courses that embed climate change into the curriculum?
So we must have very short interventions at this stage because we've got a lot of people who are wanting to contribute to the debate. Secretary of State. I'm
very grateful to the Honourable Member, and we're doing much of what she asked for, of course, including just talking about the local skills plans, where net zero will very much be part of the planning and the development process. I just want to make headway because to your instructions, there's a lot to do, a lot to go through tonight. I also want to make sure that all students from the first two cohorts are not unfairly disadvantaged by the ongoing challenges presented by COVID on T-level delivery. We have therefore recently announced a small number of temporary flexibilities to how industry placements can be delivered for these groups, including allowing some virtual working. We're working to improve technical education at all levels, including level 2, which has been neglected for far too long. Getting level 2 and below right is key to making sure that students have clear lines of sight to level 3 apprenticeships, traineeships and for some directly into employment. We will consult on proposals for reform later this year, but we will work at speed. It is in the interest of learners that we take a fresh look at the system and make it easier to navigate with better outcomes for learners, employers and our economy. When I was apprenticeship czar, Madam Deputy Speaker, I saw how people in other countries understood their system so clearly. It made a world of difference. Everyone understood it, the student, their family and their employer. Since this bill's introduction in May, Madam Deputy Speaker, it has been subject to a thorough and significant scrutiny through the other place, and I would like to set my thanks to all those who contributed, especially for the Minister for the School System, who took this bill on just before its report stage and did so brilliantly. The Minister brought forward some government amendments during the report stage, including those clauses on essay mills. Another amendment was to allow 16 to 19 colleges to become academies with a religious designation, something I know the member for Blackpool South will be very happy about. Important sets of issues were raised in the other place. I can be clear that we are listening and taking careful consideration of the proposals made there. Not all changes are right for legislation, but I wholeheartedly agree with the spirit of many of those proposals. Madam Deputy Speaker, it is a privilege to be able to take this bill through the House. I know there are many exciting and thought-provoking debates ahead of us, but most importantly, we must remember why we are doing this. It is to deliver high-quality qualifications designed with employers to give students the skills they need. With the support of members across all benches of this House, this bill will signify a major milestone in our plan for jobs and our economic recovery. This bill will set us up for both the future we want and, crucially, the future we need. And I commend this bill to the House.